Apple is pretty smart. They sell the AirTag for $30, and then they don't put a hole in it. So then they sell you a hole. They literally sell you a hole for $30. Apple is the only Apple is the only company in the world that can sell a freaking hole for $30. I do not understand how they can do that. I mean, they removed the hole in the headphone jack from the from the iPhone, and of course they sold you AirPods. These aren't AirPods. These are from HEB. But I mean that is next level egregious. Samsung gives you the smart tag hole for free. It's included with your purchase. It's just it is using less material. I mean, it is a bit greedy, but I mean, I kind of have to admire that. It's kind of like whoever invented the crop top or ripped jeans, which of course, pro SSALTW, and actually pro crop top. I don't really understand for ripped jeans. That is insane. That someone actually figured out. Hey guys, let's take a shirt, make it tight, cut it in half, and we'll sell it for the same price. That is insane. Or hey guys, let's take jeans, cut holes in them, make them look like shaggy and raggedy, and hey, heck, even put some type of fade on it, and we'll sell them for double, quadruple the price of regular jeans that cover your entire legs. I'm amazed at capitalism right there. It's kind of like a cotton candy. Amazing invention. You're selling air on a stick for $9. You take cotton candy, you put it into a bowl. You set it in like a bowl like this, a bowl like this. You sell it for like $10. You compress it, take all the air out. It's about this big. You have all this. You just bought $9 of air and $1 of sugar. And the even more genius point is that the person who invented cotton candy was a dentist. So this guy sold flavored sugared air for 900% upcharge, and then these people have to come back and buy his toothbrushes or get their teeth cleaned. Absolutely next level. But that is a side tangent too. What we were talking about is with GPS trackers. So many GPS trackers on Amazon, cheap GPS trackers. I'm pretty sure some like dedicated spy website. It's different. They all have these different apps that you need to do, but they don't really advertise a website. Why do you need a phone to track something on GPS? I'm pretty sure the internet worked in 2007 and GPS worked in 2007, right? The iPhone, let's say the iPhone hasn't even come out yet, so you don't even have phones to download these GPS apps on. No, yes, I know there are much better phones than that. Nokia N95. I'm always loyal to you, Mr. Nokia N95. Maybe I should get one, test it out. But the truth of the matter is that. There were no GPS tracking apps for your Nokia N95. There are no GPS tracking apps for your LG Chocolate. There are no GPS tracking apps for your run-of-the-mill flip phone. Okay, you have to use a proper desktop computer. Now, I was glad to find one. I actually have it here on the desk. It's charging, of course, for Operation Peace on Earth. More information on that coming out soon. It's actually a lot bigger than I thought, but apparently it's for a car. I am glad that this does have a website, but you should have technology that works both on the web and both on mobile. There's this I guess all these Grok features are coming out to iPhone, the iPhone app, but it's not coming out to the web. It's not coming out to the internet, which doesn't even make sense. Grok does not need any of those features. The only features that would be, I guess, considered phone exclusive would be some of the camera features. If we're going to pretend that computers are just going to be made for accessing the internet and that computers are or you have all these super high powerful computers, and all you need is some sort of web browser or something like that. In fact, Perplexity, the AI search engine, actually released their browser comment, and it's just why? I was reading this book about the internet. Let me see if I have the title here. How the internet happened, from Netscape to the iPhone, by Brian McCullough. It was a pretty interesting book. It actually claimed that the internet is what made computers click, which I guess is nice and neat and everything. But the internet back then, it was different than the internet nowadays. Of course, you had so much more or less on the internet, but there's so many more protocols that people were using. FTP, of course, the World Wide Web, but other things as well. Go for some things on the terminal. So it kind of felt more, I guess, computery. Now, if we're gonna, pretend that everything just has to be on the web, the web is the future. You have all these AI chatbots, ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Grok, etc. On the internet. then it should be standard across the board. There should be no reason why someone's $50 Chromebook can't run the same web app as someone's $5,000 Ryzen gaming laptop, right? And think about how insulting and offensive it must be for someone with a $5,000 Ryzen gaming laptop to be told, no, you cannot run this application, especially like the Motorola talk about walkie-talkies. It's such a ridiculous piece of junk. But for someone with a $5,000 laptop, you're told, no, you can't run this application. You must use some type of emulator, or you must have some cheap, like $130 iPhone SE from 2016 to run this specific application. To track this watch, you need you need a cheap phone. Heaven forbid that you have a nice computer that's worth more than Nigeria's entire GDP or something like that. How does that even make sense? Like, I mean, aside from gaming, is that where we are in computing? And if that's where we're going to be, fine. Look, I have advocated for other networks, but whatever. If that's where you guys want to be, fine, whatever. I don't get to dictate how the computing trends change. But if that's how you're going to be, then you have to determine that everything is the same across the board, or tap into some of the features that are on the device as well. I mean, if you think about this means that the computer and mobile network is kind of stagnating. I mean, it's kind of impressive how the car business. I've always wondered about this. How is the car business? How are car companies still in business? Like, okay, a 2019 car and a 2020 car are barely different. The last change Ford did was when I was in 4th grade, and I was doing all these debates. I actually read the A volume on Indian Encyclopedia for aluminum alloy to specifically prove that aluminum alloy is tougher than steel. And they was doing all these ad campaigns, Chevrolet versus Ford. I was on the Ford side back then. I guess that was the big thing. Back before I got chased around the school, back before the Nicole investigation, back before I got chased around the school the second time, back before all this, back before all the teen dating stuff. That was the whole thing. That was like the first, I guess, foray into, I guess, becoming the school's most, I guess, pivotal. What's the word I'm looking for? Controversial figure. Whatever. It was just Ford versus Chevrolet, aluminum alloy versus steel. Right. That was the last time Ford did some type of design. If you think about this, if 2010 Ford truck, maybe there's a different backup camera in a 2010 Ford truck versus a 2015 Ford truck. Well, that's it. Maybe the fuel economy got a little bit better. It's a little bit better. But since the early 2000s, I mean, cars really have not changed. But how are these cars still in business? Well, it makes sense. You have wear and tear, and of course, you can always make cars a little bit more fuel efficient. Cars get in accidents a lot more than phones do. So, you're always going to have wear and tear. You're always going to have accidents. And, cars, I guess you can always add something. You can have, I don't know, self-driving. Maybe you can add some more cameras. Maybe you can make it a little bit more fuel efficient. Where are we with phones? I've been watching television shows. I think these television shows, except for some sci-fi style ones like Sydney and Max to the Future or something like that, can really tell us where we are at a place in technology. I was watching the TV show Girl Meets World. I actually have notes on this. We're going to do a whole review on here, and then I guess we can do a written review on the Odyssey Boy. I've not forgotten about that website. And they're all talking about phones. Guess what? It's taped in 2014. They're texting each other. They're smartphones, so we know that they can access the internet, and they can use basically any application that they can use now. I mean, they're probably running iOS 10 or 11. Okay, most likely you can access most 85-90% of the applications that we have nowadays today. And yes, maybe a bit slower than they are today, so you can maybe upgrade. But come on, phones are not getting into as many accidents, and even if they are getting to accidents, what we call as drops, we now have waterproofing. We now have phone cases, so that kind of eliminates the threat of your phone, breaking. And screen protectors. Almost forgot about that. Once you transition over to 5G, you're going to be good for 10, maybe 15 years. And 4G still online too. So still 10, 15 years, 5G maybe even 20 years. The camera, which has been going on to all these, social networks, that for the same social network, Snapchat's been around for over 10 years. Instagram's been around for over 10 years. Facebook's been around since before I was born. The same social networks, you upload them, you see the picture, they're compressed. So more than 12 megapixels. I mean, unless you're going to be super zoom, which has been perfected since like 2022, you put it on a big wall poster or something like that, which pretty unlikely. And if you do that, you might as well just use a real camera. Which again, for the camera business, I don't even know how they're in business. Like what? Oh, we added like 1.1 more megapixels there, guys. I mean, cameras are the new innovation in cameras is just more smartphone-y style features. I mean, some of them literally run some type of skin version of Android, which is kind of interesting from a full circle perspective. The applications that are in the store, always said like the top 7 out of 10 applications in the store will always be some type of chat, and not a chat application that is offline, except for one. We are going to get to today. Some type of chat application, social application, and shopping application. It's always the same, guys. Guess what? Top 7 out of 10. The number 2 application right now is TikTok, and then 2 through 6 is TikTok, Threads, WhatsApp, Timu, and Instagram. Number 1 is Chat GPT, and then number 7 is TikTok, but TikTok Lite again. So it never ends. It never changes. And I don't know if you're going to count Cash App is in at number 9. Does that count as a shopping app? I'm not sure. It still doesn't really matter because TikTok, Threads, WhatsApp, Timu, Instagram, TikTok again, Drama Box maybe, and then if not, Snapchat at number 10. That's 7, 8. It's always right. It is like a law. It's like a law of the land. And you get into 10 to 20, 9 out of 10 are gonna be like in those categories right there. Hey guys, guess what? Do you think those applications need any special advancement? Do you think DoorDash DoorDash will run on a phone from 2015 and a phone from now? Now I did boot up some S5. It was like painfully slow, right? But maybe in S6, S7 Edge, boom, perfectly fine, except for the torch port. And I don't think we're going to be transitioning from USB-C anytime soon, especially since the stupid EU had to go make laws about ports. Which, one thing that the government should not be doing is making laws about technology. We've said that about except for like the 1983 computer hack law. That was smart. But we said that about the Texas cell phone ban. It's absolutely stupid. It's absolutely ridiculous. People at work have been talking about that. They're mostly against it. I think Australia's trying to ban YouTube for minors. They're trying to get some type of digital ID. The government is horrible at trying to, regulate and mandate technology. That used to be regulating that and mandating that. I mean, at least not the federal. Goodness gracious. But I digress. Like, the phone experience is vastly unchanged. I mean, my phone experience from A71 to S24 Ultra has been essentially the same. I probably still have an A71, maybe not, if the A71 just didn't stop working as a phone. Like I just couldn't call people, I couldn't text people, so I had to go upgrade. But the phone experience compared to $200 Motorola or $1,000 Samsung is essentially the same if you run the same applications. Now, if you do something like me, maybe it'd be a little bit better. Have a big screen, you can watch lots of TV on here. It's fast, but that's just a T-Mobile 5G data connection, and video editing, photos. It is actually my primary computer because like you're saying, most of the stuff uses the web. Well, this is a great web browsing machine right at my fingertips. How long is the phone market going to be in business? Seriously. Like, of course, they get damaged. For phones, I mean, this phone is in near pristine condition. Like, I only have like a scratch on the side of the on the corners or whatever. If I wanted to list this phone on eBay, it'd be like a 9 out of 10, basically perfectly good out of the box. The only thing that's wrong with it is the S Pen, and of course you can just go get a replacement off of Amazon for $30. And I was thinking about this, and I was thinking, hey, maybe it's like the computer industry too. Because if you think about that, the computer industry is essentially the same too. Think about it, laptops, invented in the 80s, have been the exact same form factor for 40 years. 40 years they've been for the exact same form factor. Now, yeah, sure, they've gotten thinner. Sure, they've switched out ports. Maybe went from VGA to HDMI, HDMI to USB-C Thunderbolt, USB-A to USB-C. Heck, USB-A to nothing, okay? But, I mean, it's the same thing. It's a screen, it's a hinge, it's a keyboard. Boom. And, guys, guess what? I'm always going to harp on these people. I don't know who these people are, but, look, I saw these girls in Chick-fil-A a few months ago. And, guys, guess what? They were on these $1,000 MacBooks, M-Series MacBooks. And what did they do with it? Type. Were they using Pages? Were they using Word? No, and heck no. They were using Google Docs. I mean, I guess the computer industry is always going to stay in business. I mean, think about it. The desktop computing industry has been the same thing. It's a box. You connect it to a screen. Boom. Okay, since the 90s. I mean, heck, even in the 90s, you can go search through some old computer ads or some old like computer channels or whatever. You have these computers that just connect to the internet, and that was it. You could check your email, you get yourself the web. I think they had some sort of storage on there so you could like download stuff. I'm not sure. And that was it. And does that sound familiar now? Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, up until like maybe 2005 or something, you need some programs, I guess real video players, so you can see videos on the internet. But YouTube comes in, you have a fast internet connection, boom, you're set. I mean, really, how is the computer industry going to stay in business if everyone's just going to be using the internet? Like, if Microsoft deleted everything except for just uh, Edge, the Files app, and that's it. I don't think 90% of users would notice. Look, if you could use Edge just to download one program from Chrome, you use Chrome. You can use Google Docs. You can use Microsoft Word online. You can save your pictures. I honestly do not think people would notice. Everyone's talking about, oh, the Chromebook is just on the web. You can't really get any real work done. That might have been true in 2011. I don't think that's true now. I mean, a Chromebook from 2015, as long as it loads, as long as it boots up, might be a little slow. The screen might be a little bit bad, and it might be a little bit crappy. But I mean, it's the same thing. No, I'm not advocating that for using those in schools. They're absolute trash. Okay, I'm saying bring your own laptop. Stupid Texas cell phone ban. But I mean, if worst comes to worst, I mean, we're already at a computing standpoint.